Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching this transmission. 'Tis I, Mike Martins, bringing you a very important article, trying to tie in what I've been trying to say in my other videos. Okay, do you remember how I've been saying how a lot of people are leaving the major cities because of affordability crisis? How so many people are leaving and mass exiting the city of Vancouver, people mass exiting California, people mass exiting Seattle, everything along the West Coast, Portland, Oregon, and moving inward to the east, right? Well, and I kept saying Sydney, people leaving Sydney, moving inward into the inland, people leaving Melbourne, moving to Hobart, and people leaving Auckland, right, and moving to Christchurch. So people leaving London and moving to Dublin. But anyways, let me get to my point. Do you remember when I kept saying, how are they going to fund the city structure? How are they going to fund these cities? How are they going to flip the bill for the cities? How are these cities going to fund their infrastructure if the middle-class taxpayers aren't flipping the bill? If the blue-collar workers are no longer there to pay their taxes, right, that fund hospitals, police, all that jazz. Who's going to be there to flip those states or cities or counties or provinces or regions bills and deficits? Well, I found this article today on all places Zero Hedge with Tyler Durden, and this is very important because if you see the cumulative growth, it shows right here. You see, because everyone's moving to Texas right now from the West, okay? So a lot of liberal states are moving to Texas, Atlanta, and Florida. Now, Houston and Dallas, and I know Fort Worth, Texas, and Austin are off the hook right now with cumulative growth. Atlanta, I keep mentioning Georgia, Miami, state of, and Florida. Washington, District of Columbia is down there. Boston is a little bit down. But then Los Angeles, Philadelphia, New York, Chicago are in the pits. Why? Everyone's leaving LA. California had a mass exodus of 6 million people in the last 6 years alone. Philadelphia, tons of people are leaving Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and moving further south to Kansas City and other cities that are more affordable. People are leaving New York in droves to Florida, and people are leaving Chicago south to Texas. So what's happening is these taxpayers are moving out, and the people that actually fund the infrastructure, because a lot of the super elite rich don't. So that's the problem. So here it is in this article. It actually answers what I've been saying. You can't help but call a Ponzi scheme, not if you look at Chicago's collapsing demographics and consider how they're threatening the solvency of the city's government-run pensions. Chicago households are on the hook for more than $145 billion in state and local retirement debts, and there are fewer and fewer people left to pay them. Why? Because everyone left! Consider first Chicago's falling population. The city's metropolitan population has fallen 4 years in a row, and it's only top 10 city to shrink like that in all. The Chicago MSA lost 66,000 people between 2014 and 2018. So when you start losing that much bodies in tax paying, watch out. A falling population means the city's massive pension debts are falling on smaller base of taxpayers. That's bad news enough. But another key demographic, the ratio of active government working to pensioners, is even more concerning. The ratio which equaled 1.4 actives for every pensioner. So for every pensioner, there's only 1.4 actives for every pensioner in 2005. The collapsing nearly 1.05, and if the trend continues in just a year or two, there will be more pensioners draining money from pension funds that active workers are putting in. So right now it's like at a 1-to-1. So it's not even matching. So it's going to be below. So there's going to be 4 pensioners and 1 person putting in, or 2 pensioners and 1 person only putting in. And that's what I'm afraid of with these big cities. What are they going to do? They're going to globally tax people more. Not around the globe, but I mean they're going to make more people. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. They're going to start adding carbon tax to our fuel, which we're paying here in British Columbia. They're adding all these other taxes because they got to fund the infrastructure in the big cities that everyone left because they couldn't afford to live in them in the first place. The problem is compounded by the fact that Chicago households can't afford the amount of pension debt that has been racked up by the state and local politicians. Spread out the $145 billion in overlapping government pensions and retiree healthcare debt from the city and Chicago public schools, Cook County governments, and the state, and each Chicago household is on average on the hook for more than $139,000 each. It's an insane amount, and it's tabulated in the following graphic. Retirement debt calculations shown based on both official and Moody's-based estimates. So Chicago's official retirement liabilities. Chicago's unfunded based Moody's ANPL. So here it is. Chicago's four-city run funds, 27.6. So total. So it goes through here. 5 state pension funds, state retiree insurance, forest preserve, all this stuff, right? And then it goes to total debt per household, $82,000. What's fascinating is that Illinois politicians think Chicagoans will willingly pay off the debt no matter what. I don't think so. They're obviously to the fact that more residents may just choose to slip right overnight over the border. It's a rare case when you can simply walk away from the massive debt without being arrested and or having your assets taken away from you. Illinois politicians are also arrogant enough to think that out-of-staters will continue to move into Chicago and just assume new debts the size of a mortgage, but with nothing to show for it. I mean, imagine going into a fund that's already severely depleted and you will get nothing when it comes to your time. Wow. Chicago's pension plans are already deeply in debt and functionally bankrupt. That's particularly true for the municipal police, fire pension funds, and which are about 1/4 funded. Ooh, so they're not even fully funded. A recent analysis, Wirepoints found that at the end of 2017, the police fund had only enough assets to cover the next 4 years of payouts. In contrast, the fund's assets in 2000 were enough to cover the following 13 years of payouts. Chicago is losing the demographics game, and its retirement debts got even bigger. It's hard to call this a Ponzi scheme orchestrated by the Illinois politicians. The question is, how fast does it fall apart? Remember, guys, the city of Chicago, that city itself has 3 or 4 layers of government. I'm not sure how many, but it's a ridiculous amount of layers of government. It's ludicrous. And no, this hasn't answered my question, because how are they going to fund a city that no one's moving to with fresh blood and first-time home buyers and all that stuff? It's not going to work. It just won't. So that's my question. All these people leaving Sydney, all these people mass exiting Auckland, all these people leaving London, Vancouver, Toronto, Los Angeles, New York. Who's going to fund the infrastructure? I didn't even bring up pensions. I just brought up infrastructure like police, garbage, firefighters, like stuff like that. Nurses. I didn't even bring up pensions. So that's one to think about. What are they going to do? They're going to start taxing out of other provinces to carry their pension debts? This is a very interesting turn of times, and it's phenomenal where we've put in ourselves in the last 6, 7, 8 years. It's absolutely phenomenal where things are at right now. It's a great time to be alive. Let me know in your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. I really want to know. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. And if you want to support this transmission, just share one of my videos. Thanks for watching, guys.